Anyone not familiar with Artist Works, we're an online music instruction company. We work with 37 world-renowned musicians who've recorded entire video curriculums with us and for you. The goal here for these shows is just to bring a little bit of a musical oasis to you at home. And today we're joined by Guthrie Trapp. And for any of you unfamiliar, he teaches country Nashville guitar at Artist Works. And he's joined today with his musical colleague, Patrick Sweany. And throughout the show today, we'd like to encourage you to join the conversation. Let us know where you are. And if you have any questions for the artists, just go ahead and post them in the comments. So like we always do on these broadcasts, we're going to kick it off with some music. And so without further ado, let me turn it over to Patrick and Guthrie now.
Before you take another step, there's something you should know about the years to come and how they'll be. You'll be living in the world where roses hardly ever grow. And all I have to offer you is me. There'll be no mansion waiting on the hill, no crystal chandelier. There'll be no fancy clothes for you to wear. Everything I have is standing here in front of you to see. All I have to offer you is me. Sweetheart, I'll give you all my love in every way I can. Be sure it's what you want while you're still free. The only gold I have for you is in this wedding band. And all I have to offer you is me. There'll be no mansion waiting on the hill, no crystal chandelier. There'll be no fancy clothes for you to wear. Everything I have is standing here in front of you to see. All I have to offer you is me. Do it again, baby. be no mansion waiting on the hill, no crystal chandelier. There'll be no fancy clothes for you to wear. Everything I have is standing here in front of you to see. All I have to offer you is me. All I have to offer you is me. All right. That's
All right.
country as a brown egg for sure.
That's about it, man. That's it. That's the kind of music we like here in Nashville, Tennessee, folks.
Fantastic.
All about the song, man. All about the song.
So where in Nashville are you broadcasting from today, guys?
You know, we're me and Patrick both live here. He's got his own house and I have mine. We don't live together, but we're both in the same neighborhood. We live in
Like the Partridge
we live
Family.
in East Nashville, Tennessee. East Nashville, Tennessee. And so, you know, this is a great community. A lot of probably the most high density per capita musician and artist neighborhood possibly in the world. We've got Robin Ford lives about a quarter of a mile from me. I see him at the post office, in the grocery store. We all shop at this little hippie grocery store called the Turnip Truck. And so we see all the, if you want to hang out with all the,
what about your neighbors over there, buddy?
If you want to hang out with all the cats, man, you go to the Turnip Truck or you go have coffee in this neighborhood and you run into David Greer or Patrick or Robin Ford, or, you know, the list goes on and on, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's so cool.
That's just part of why we're here.
No doubt.
That's why we're here. And even after 20 years, I see guys like that moving to town, and I go, you know, Bill Evans, the famous saxophone player, just moved here. Robin told me that the other day at the grocery store.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, like I mean,
wow.
Nashville keeps it keeps reiterating to me why I'm here, and it's because of all my heroes live here, and they don't move, they stay. So I'm staying.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's exciting.
Yeah, and welcome back, Patrick. We saw you here about a month ago.
Yeah.
For anyone that missed it, you guys want to talk just a little bit about how you guys came to work together and how you became buddies?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. I had just moved to town. I didn't really know anybody. It had been within the first 6, maybe 8 months of living here. I went to this kind of like this guy was sort of playing at the 12 South Tap Room, and he was kind of playing blues, and Guthrie was sitting in, and we just sort of hit it off. You know, we started talking about things because we were sort of waiting to sit in. By that time, and then also, I mean, that's a really odd story.
Yeah.
Of how that guy ended up selling Guthrie a stolen amplifier and borrowing it back before the heat came down, and sold it to 3 more people. And then I ran into the guy that stole it in a grocery store and called Guthrie and said, "Hey man, I know you don't know me very well, but I'm right here with the guy." So he had been in trouble. I was like, so you should call his probation officer, because if he's here, if he's supposed to be making, because he had robbed everyone in town, like 3 music stores, things like that, and had gotten away with a lot. I mean, had really borrowed, like, because he was a good player, had borrowed things from other people. It's sort of like really a weird thing in our community, and really I've never seen anything since, but he gained a lot of trust and borrowed some equipment and just sold it, and ended up going to prison for it. And apparently, he moved into my neighborhood when he got out. And I'm like, that's the guy.
That doesn't happen very often in a town like this, because that's considered like one of the that's like a big deal to steal musicians' instruments. Like, that's the lowest of the low in a music community. And the funny thing about it is that guy owed me money, and he sold me an amp that was stolen, and I had to give it back to the guy that had the amp, right? And so I found out where this guy lived, and I was going over to his house every day, banging on the door. Man, I was relentless with this guy. Well, then he just split town, and like, man, this was years and years. I mean, this was 10 years ago or more.
Oh, more
and more. And so then listen to this. So like a year ago, I get a Facebook message from this kid saying, "Hey man, I'm so sorry. I'm a changed man." And he wrote me this long thing, and I haven't even responded to it yet, man. It's like just sitting there. And so I'm like, dude, you got a lot to learn, brother.
Goodness.
So anyway.
Well, it looks like you guys have got some pretty good instruments in your hands now. So
you said musical colleague. I think of him more as a partner in crime.
Yeah, well,
but we literally fought crime. I don't know. Like we keep calling a partner in crime,
right.
But we literally fought crime that day.
Right.
Because you called in. We forgot to say that because you called in. He started having to pay restitution.
Right.
For all the Nashville area guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was our reconnect. That was a big point of that story. We're crime fighters, hence the masks.
Yeah.
All right.
Nashville's finest.
He sent me a couple checks, and I let it. I didn't chase it anymore. Anyway, we're moving right along.
Well, we got a lot of people here checking in and saying hello from all over the place. So let's put a couple of these up here and say hi to them. We got Jake saying hello from Pittsburgh.
The Bird. Right.
Lancaster.
Hi to
Lancaster.
Right on. I'm Lancaster. North Florida.
All right.
Florida.
All right.
That's your people.
Panhandlers. The Panhandlers. Canada. All
Hello.
Right.
Up north.
Right.
Can't wait to see y'all again.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yep.
Treasure Lake.
Portugal. All right. We have a winner.
Longest commute. Ashland, Oregon. Right on. Man, I love it up there.
Some more folks in Florida.
Hey.
Right on.
And this one, you might know this person.
Greetings from West Nashville.
Oh, that's West Side, right?
West Side.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's like another side of the planet. Might as well be Portugal.
How's the weather over there?
Well,
thank you.
Thanks,
here's one checking in from a distance. We're saying hello from
Hello.
Japan. Hi.
Cheers.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Ojai, California.
Oh, hi. All right.
Oh,
that's where Ryan's from. Yeah. Oh, hi.
SC.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Huntington Beach. We've got a lot of folks checking in here.
Right on.
All right. Good.
One more.
Lovely.
Cincinnati in the house.
Cincy.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you guys this, but Lisa's asked the same question. What guitars are you guys picking on today?
Go ahead, Patrick.
Well, this is actually a custom-made guitar from a luthier in Ohio. Actually, I think he lives in Parkersburg, West Virginia now, just over the river. But Joshua Buskirk, and it is his take on a wartime Gibson J45. So it's a spruce top, torrefied spruce top. But when they rationed all the mahogany during the war, they made a few J45s with maple back and sides. And this is just a beautiful instrument, almost all hand tools, and just a cannon of a guitar. I really love it. And Josh, he makes. He's an old friend that used to make these, or still does, these beautiful sort of ladder braced early single O and double O Gibsons or LGOs rather. He since moved into making these J45s, and I don't know how many he makes a year, but I just recently saw him, and he had just made another mahogany J45 that it played. It's exactly like my 58, which is very similar to that guitar. Moving right along.
Yeah, so this is a 1955 Gibson J50. There's a little headstock shot there for you. It's got the large pick guard, and I guess you could kind of call this a poor man's J45. To me, they sound just as good, and they're a little cheaper, and I honestly think cooler because they're not as popular as the sought after J45, but this guitar has
Being a
great
J45
tone.
owner, I would like to strongly voice my. They're the same guitar, though.
Yeah, I mean, this thing just sounds really great. I mean, you can hear the woody. What you're going for is a really woody tone and not a really sizzly bright high end. You want fatness and warmth, right? And so this guitar really has that.
Yeah.
The high notes. I love this guitar, man.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I was gonna say, like during your opening performance there, I heard a little gypsy jazz, and not a lot of guitars can do that sound, and others as well. It was a nice little some of those bends I was feeling in there.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you know what a lot of that is it's you kind of play back by the bridge to get that little bit more of that gypsy jazz attack, and then you are also some of those licks. You know that one those little licks and this kind of stuff. Let's see. Those are all like really gypsy jazz licks. A little sloppy, but you know what I mean. Like those kind of you can play back by the bridge and get a little bit of that attack. You can kind of cop that feel if you don't have that guitar.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
We actually got a question here on that song as well. I don't know if you can read it from there, but I'll read it for you. Guthrie, you're doing a lot of double stops in the first number. How did you first approach double stops and putting them into a melody? And how did you jump from the chord shapes to playing lines?
Okay, yeah, that's a 35-year question. But I
we
will
have a bullet point.
No, I do. Yeah, I do actually. So the double stops are all out of chord shapes. So you'll hear me preach about chord shapes. So what I did when I was a kid was I spent time and I learned all my chord inversions, which now people call the cage system. I learned all my chord inversions up the neck, and I learned all the scales, arpeggios, and pentatonics around those shapes. And so I also, you can break learning these big giant chords. We're not going to play those all the time. We're going to break those down into triads and partials that we can use. And so playing a double stop is playing this big chord and then breaking it down into these two notes. You have to be able to visualize the chord. So I'm taking these two notes, the 1, the 5 and the 3 of that big A chord. Well, that just becomes the major scale. Oh, sorry, that's a G chord. Sorry, but so the double stops are basically the major scale harmonized. If I do this, but I add the third to it out of this shape. Sorry, I'm a G. Right, so using those as melodies is the same application as using single notes from the major scale. I'm just harmonizing. So great exercise is to just map out those chords, People don't realize that playing lead guitar, single note lead guitar, that all of us want to be able to do, comes from, if you want to be able to do that and not get lost up the fingerboard, you got to learn your major chord shapes. Really, like you're breathing and walking. And that's awesome. It. That's the key, man. That's the golden pill right there, man.
Keys to the kingdom right there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what do you guys think about playing some more music?
Yeah, let's do it.
Get another tune going?
Hey, we're way better at that than this other stuff.
Cool. Well, tell us what you're going to play this time.
All right.
Well, you want to do we did that. Did we do that Make Me a Palette last time? I'm not sure.
Yeah. How about
or something like that. Like you want to do like a country picking kind of thing. Like ain't nobody's business, ain't nobody's business. I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. Champagne don't hurt me, baby, and cocaine don't drive me crazy. Ain't nobody's business but mine. Gonna way to leave you. I know it's gonna grieve you. Ain't nobody's business but mine. Do you think that I'm a fool? Think I'm gonna quit you while the weather's cool? Ain't nobody's business what I do. On a way to leave you. I know it's gonna grieve you. Ain't nobody's business what I do. Cut loose. I'm going to drink the liquor way on down in Costa Rica. Ain't nobody's business what I do. Tell me now where you're staying. Come on, baby, I'm come back paying. Nobody's business but mine. Ain't nobody's business, ain't nobody's business, ain't nobody's business but mine. Do you think that I'm a fool? Think I'm gonna quit you while the weather's cool? And nobody's business but mine. I'll sit here in the corner of the fence till all these girls start to talk some sense. Ain't nobody's business but mine. Nobody's business how in the world I spend my money. Ain't nobody's business but mine. Here we go. All right.
Okay, now let me tell you something. Now that's fun right there.
I concur.
That's what fun sounds like.
Agreed.
And that really, at the end of the day, I mean, being a musician, right? They say if you do what you love, you never work a day, right?
That's right.
Right.
Some motivation.
Yeah, man, it's fun to play. That swing feel is one of my favorite things to play. I mean, that's just a fun. I mean, obviously, it's up tempo. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things you can do, even with the 3-chord kind of blues, country progression. You can always. I love the swing feel because you can superimpose all the jazz information over top of that if you do it in a tasteful way. But obviously, I'm playing some kind of swing feel licks over that. You don't want to do this. This is what a lot of people misinterpret the swing feel, and they end up doing something like and it's kind of like hippity hoppity right on the beat kind of thing. What you really want to be is you want that swing feel of like where it's kind of swinging. And that all comes from the shuffle feel, which we've talked about a bunch of times with Patrick and with Keith Wyatt, is that just that good shuffle feel. But like the rhythm of that song, I'm trying to play something kind of clean until we got to the end, and we're both kind of doing the ragtime style where everybody's on all skate, right? But until then, I'm trying to play these really nice and clean Freddie Green style 3-chord comping style, and that sounds like this. So I'm going. That's a C6, not a C dominant 7. I'm playing a C6 because that's the flavor of the song. So I'm playing C6. I'm playing F major, but I'm playing the C in the bass, the major third of the F, and the tonics on the G. So you're not getting the rub of the close interval of the major third and the 1, because that gets muddy sounding. Hear that?
Right.
I mean, it has its place, but if I do this, it's way cleaner, and then you get this.
And it's
cool
also,
stuff.
while I'm doing this, I'm alternating between 2 of those tonic notes almost always, especially going to that 4.
Right.
So I'm just pounding that, and so you get that third together with it. It just sounds. It's a
little too much. Yeah, it's not clean enough, and so not clean. And then so another thing is, I play my 4. I'm also only moving one finger to get to the 4 chord. Here's my C6. There's my F. I'm just moving 1. So seeing how one chord shape can, relate to another one, which is, the more you learn your cage system, of course, the more that opens up. But, you got to just look at this and go, look, wow, I'm only moving 1 note to make that F chord. If I go to G, of course, on the 5 chord, I'm going to play the dominant 7 to bring the tension back from the flat 7 of the G, which is F, to the major third of C, which is the E. But I'm still going to play that voicing of this. And at the very end, I'm going to go to this G dominant 7 back to the C. I can also do this shape, which is like, now that comes from your D shape. There's my D-shaped C chord. There's my third on the E. But if I take that apart and just look at the 3 notes, so if I'm playing a solo over that, I can still superimpose 3, 6, 2, 5 over that chord change, right? So that's what I mean about, you can throw in the long turnarounds of the jazz over a 3-chord song and it sounds cool.
That's fantastic.
Anyway,
really good advice.
That's my little spiel on that.
Yeah, no, that's I'm really glad you did that, because that's something that I think a lot of times, like when Guthrie and I get together, is I'm a very, very traditional and a pretty, I guess, of a narrow scope player, and that kind of thing. So my thing is always going to come out of that sort of country blues thing, of those early kind of feels. Mm-hmm. And as I kind of like to superimpose those things against other frameworks, like I'll do a swing tune, but we'll do it like a funk all the time. Like we'll do Further On the Road is one of the most swinging flat tire shuffles there is, and we'll do that as like a deep, like almost monochordal funk.
Change the groove and stuff.
Yeah, to do that, and all that phrasing works, and it all pulls it together. And that's another thing of like us doing like a blues, where I'm doing, alternating bass as as Travis picking as it gets. With him doing over that, it really just makes it really kind of frees up, where I start to change a little bit of the attack and the dynamic of the low end to kind of react to what he's doing too. And that's really something that I really enjoy. I think we enjoy about each other, kind of like, let's see if we can do it. That's the thing, is like, I try things, I don't always pull them off. You hang out with him, he blows it through the goalposts,
And then Nashville, to his point, Nashville is a place where you become very hypersensitive of what's appropriate for the song, because not only are we playing a lot of music here, but I'm out every night. When in normal times, I'm out 5-6 nights a week listening to music. All my friends playing anything from singer-songwriter to funk, blues, the jazz music. I go and hear all this stuff, bluegrass. And so what happens is even though some of those jazz voicings work on a song like we just did, the swing feel stuff, I'm not sitting here playing all these upper extensions of everything you could possibly do, because that becomes inappropriate. It's too much. But if I stick to these nice little voicings, it fits the time period of the song. I'm still not, even though he's playing a more kind of traditional finger picking, old school pattern, I can still play that comping pattern behind him, and it's not like I'm playing a bunch of jazz extensions that are from the 60s and 70s. You know what I mean?
Right. It all sort of
So it
feeds
fits
together.
the song. It really fits the song. So that's something that I do kind of. I mean, I can showboat and get out there and take long solos and all that stuff, but I do like to play what's somewhat appropriate for the style of music that I'm playing. You know. And it's fun to do that because you're playing the right thing and you're being supportive, you know?
Yeah. That really, it sounds like that is probably the biggest takeaway here, is that listening really at the end of it all is key to whatever you want to play.
Yeah.
You got to just really get in there and hear what's going on there.
So if Patrick's playing like whatever he's doing on the guitar, because we're not in a band together. He has his own, like he's got different bands and he plays solo and all this different stuff. And so he's got his stuff worked out. When he plays his songs, he knows exactly what's going on. I'm accompanying. I'm basically, we're just jamming here, right? And so, as soon as I hear him, if he's down here doing something, I want to be up here doing something. And if he's finger picking, I want to do something nice and clean, like I've been talking about. If we're playing in a band situation where we find ourselves, sitting in Nashville and jamming together and stuff like that. If he's doing like a real, deep funk groove down here on a 6-chord or something, I'll do like a single note line, and he's going, you know what I mean?
Right.
So anything
giving space.
Yeah, because if you go in the studio,
space is the place, man.
If you go in the studio and 2 electric guitars are tracking together, that's what it's about. That's how you make the sound, more appropriate and bigger and everything is, whatever. If this guy over here is playing a 335, I'm grabbing a Telecaster. If he's playing acoustic, I might grab a mandolin. You're just trying to really think of like what you can do, how you can play together with somebody. It just becomes a real cohesive thing. You're trying to support each other as best you can. And that's really the right thing to do when you're playing music. Is the last thing you want to do is see another guitar player play something and then play the same thing. You want to play the complete opposite. If you do end up on stage with 2 Stratocasters and one guy's on the front pickup, I'm going to the back pickup, because then those 2 tones are going to be, otherwise you just cancel each other out,
Yeah. You can't roll the same set of roller skates. Right. You got to have your skates and you got to have yours, and that's it. And then, you can couple skate. Yeah. And, and that's what you want.
And to be honest, I don't know, Marcus, you can tell me if this is a proper terminology, but if me and him were both to sit here on these guitars and start banging away on an open E chord, it would get phasey. It gets almost phasey,
It starts to, there's like some cancellation that can definitely happen, especially when it's recorded. If it's too close together.
So if he's playing
wall
a
of mud.
if he's playing a country song and he's playing like an open E chord like this, I'm going to go up here and go, I'm going to focus on the upper extent of this chord. I'm not even going to really play my bass string. I might play the tonic on the 7th fret and then just kind of put more emphasis on the jangly strings. If he's got that, I've got that, And so just those are things to really be conscious of, even if you're jamming with, your friends at your house. I mean, those little couple things like that can change the whole vibe of what you're doing,
Yeah, you never want to be in the same place as the other guy.
Right.
That's
well, it's like singing, really. You don't hear many vocals that are, sometimes you'll hear unison parts, but a lot of times, if somebody's singing together, one person's singing a harmony, the other person's singing the melody. And so kind of the same deal,
And the same is true for singers and the lines being played on the guitar as well. Like oftentimes a singer will tell you, stay out of the way. Like, I'm singing in this little area.
Yes.
So don't be playing in that area.
Absolutely.
Like everyone sort of finds their own place, right?
Really glad that, because a lot of music, and I mean primarily a lot of the music that we play is accompaniment.
Right.
We're all framing the vocal.
Yeah.
That's the thing that tells us what the name of the song is.
Yeah.
For the most part. Guthrie makes some brilliant instrumental music, But as far as venues for that outside of, even, I mean, we're the Music City, US of A during the normal times. It's these, it's for straight up instrumental music. It's a very, very small opportunity that we get to see that as much voracious amount of music that we consume on a weekly basis.
Because it is such a business town and so much of a song town that, to go out and play, really self-indulgent instrumental music that, we all have our outlets to be able to do that, but it's, it's hard to get people to sit and listen to an hour and a half of, crazy instrumental guitar music. But I will say this, that enables us to kind of, get that part of us out doing that, because he's right. Anytime I'm not with my trio playing some original tunes or something, I'm playing with somebody and I'm playing a supportive role. Now, I am a lucky guy that the people I play with, they give me a lot of rope. I get a chance to play a lot. So that's satisfying as well. And to be honest with you, a lot of times it's more satisfying because you're playing a real song with vocals and great lyrics, and I can kind of come in and do my thing and get out, versus going and playing as a power trio, which, I mean, I've done a bunch at different festivals and venues and stuff and private events and all that kind of stuff where people want that. But, it's the part of me just kind of knows, like, man, I don't know if even I'd want to sit here and listen to this for an hour and a half. It's just like the song. I just like playing. The older I get, I love playing the great songs,
Yeah, absolutely. And so for anybody that just dropped in late or joined us late, just a reminder to everyone, you can learn directly from Guthrie at Artist Works.
Right.
And, the school is country guitar, but it's kind of just become Nashville guitar or any kind of guitar you want to learn, because, such a versatile musician, you teach it all. We're playing swing here earlier. So I'm going to throw a swing question here for you from Jake. Asks, when you demonstrated the good swing feel, are you thinking of being behind the beat? It's sort of like a jazz idea of like sort of laying back on it.
Not necessarily. Don't try to manipulate the beat until you have a really good feel of exactly where you can't put the beat on the front or the back unless you can get a great feel for that style first. Like if you're playing bluegrass or fast chicken picking country stuff, that stuff has to really kind of ride the front of the beat. Otherwise it feels like it's dragging, and there's nothing worse than that. That song me and Patrick just did that has a little tempo to it, that needs to be clipping on the front of the beat a little bit, but it can't rush either. So don't worry about putting the groove behind the beat or anything yet. Just try to get that good swing feel down,
And that's the thing. I think it's important, because on the low end when Guthrie and I play a swing type beat together, I'm thinking that I'm the left hand of the piano for the most part, right, or the upright bass. And on my patterns, I'm pushing one note and I'm pulling back on another. Mm-hmm. And that's something. So you're saying there's not really you stay on top of the beat. Right. It's reacting to the phrasing, reacting to the other, where the vocal was or something like that. If the last verse was something where someone's really on top and punctuated or syncopated.
Right. And to add to that, the swing feel, like I said earlier, the swing feel comes from like that shuffle groove. So the swing feel could be anything from this. Now watch where I'm putting that emphasis. It's like the Texas double shuffle. Oh, let's see how you do that. It's like the double hit on the set. So it would be like this. Here's the emphasis for that. So that's kind of, I'm over exaggerating it a little bit, but even when you're playing now, that would be like a kind of almost a Texas blues or Chicago blues or something. But if
more Texas all the way, Texas. That swing,
and so this kind of thing, it's a little bit more Western swing, kind of country jazz if you want, and that I'm accenting. It's kind of the same. I'm accenting really hard on this. Right. So that's the feel. And what you don't want to do is play like, this kind of feel where it's like, Oh, I can't even play in the right key. So it's like a. That's what you don't want. What you want is more like, this kind of stuff where you're syncopating stuff a little bit to get the feel, but like a I don't know what we're gonna.
Oh, I was just doing that same one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Let's do a little bit of that. Yeah. Now that's not a perfect example, but it's a little bit more along the lines of kind of just getting in that groove. Man, it just takes a little time and takes a little practice. For that kind of stuff, I highly recommend playing along to as many records as you possibly can, because what better band to jam to than the greatest music ever made? You pull out your Spotify or whoever you listen to music and just start playing along to records. Find some stuff you like and just start learning it and playing along.
Bob Wills, man.
Bob Wills
and the Texas Playboys for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
With Eldon Shamblin on guitar,
Right.
I think is a guy that I think that is really interesting.
Yeah, totally,
swinging,
man.
Swinging
time.
thing that you can really kind of hear.
Yeah,
right. And he was playing a Strat a lot too.
Yeah.
I had just found that out the other day. I meant to
and
text you.
just swinging his butt off.
Oh, just unbelievable.
Yeah. And
Nice,
Hank Garland.
Hank, that's the main one. That's even better.
Any of that stuff,
because those are
Charlie Christian, Wes Montgomery. Wes Montgomery's a little bit more modern, but Charlie Christian, that kind of stuff. Freddie Green, Big Count Basie, big band. The thing about Count Basie big band is it's jazz, big band, but a lot of those heads were very simple. Like, think about this, right? So even something that simple right out of your chord. That's right out of your E-shaped G bar chord. But if you listen to Count Basie play that, you're gonna learn a ton of stuff, right? And so those little things like that, man, it doesn't have to be super complicated just because it's called swing or jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And just on the point of listening, what are you guys listening to at the moment? I know, Guthrie, you listen to all sorts of music. What's in your player right now? I know when it's a hard question to answer.
Go ahead, Pat.
Man, well, I literally just found an old CD of the Bob Wills Tiffany transcriptions. So I cleaned the bathroom today to that, which is great. It's all fast up and up tempo like that. Before that, I had on Rufus Thomas.
Nice.
Which is, really funky.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the 70s stack stuff that was really funky. But I was also listening to some Charlie Christian when I woke up in the morning. Like,
that's awesome.
This live at Mints, like they taped a jam session, it's crazy how, and that's another thing we mentioned about Charlie Christian and about Count Basie and all those things are like just exactly how influential that phrasing was on guitar players.
Yeah. Of
just that next generation or the lower half of his generation. Like that thing of just like that phrasing, like, because you're doing that da 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 da. Well,
right.
Guitar Slim was doing that,
and T-Bone
Walker was doing that.
And all those guys. BB King. Who was the guy that BB King said was his favorite guitar player?
Earl Hooker. Well, he said T-Bone was his guy. He fainted when he met him, and that was sort of came up.
There's another one I can't remember. He had a really interesting style. I'll never remember right now, but. Anyway,
was it Billy Butler from
no,
Bill Doggett?
His name. He had a real interesting style. He had this one lick he did all the time, and I can't remember. He sung too, but I'll never think of it now. I'll put it somewhere when I think of it.
Not gonna be able to sleep.
So I was walking today. I've been doing this walk every morning. I walk 3 miles every morning now since I'm getting a little older. I'm trying to get in shape for a change. And so I've got these earbuds now that came in the mail today or yesterday. And so I've been listening to entire records on this walk. I don't flip anything. I put a record on. I'll listen to the whole thing, every song back to back. And so who does that these days? I'm the worst. I'm always flipping stuff around. If I'm in the car, I'm flipping around.
Always.
And so I put on Strength in Numbers, which is Sam Bush, Bela Fleck, Mark O'Connor, Jerry Douglas, and Edgar Meyer. And they did a supergroup album in 1989.
89, yeah.
And it is absolutely one of the greatest records of music you will ever hear in your life. It is unbelievable. I mean, I'm like, I get chills just thinking about it. There is some absolutely stellar writing and playing on that record. And then from there, my Pandora radio stays on Buena Vista Social Club or Afro-Cuban Jazz Radio, and it's just a constant one song after the next of like the baddest Afro-Cuban jazz and Cuban music, which I love to death. And I actually incorporate a lot of that stuff into other styles of music. And so that, and then I still love to go, depends on how many whiskeys I've had, I still love to go listen to great old blues. I mean, it's funny. Amen. As the night goes on, no question about it, the old blues records are going to start coming out. It's just what you go back to, man, because the feel is so good. And so that, and man, I'll listen, just COVID's got me listening to all kind of stuff. I've been listening to Lenny Stern. She's got a great record out that's all African music, Lenny Stern, just tons of stuff. This Salif Keita record that's African, that's really good. I love a lot of world music because the rhythms are so fun, and I like energetic stuff. And so it's perfect for me. And I can't understand what they're saying. So a lot of lyrics sometimes get a little too literal for me. I don't want to hear English lyrics all the time. I want to hear Spanish and African because the what I'm hearing is very soulful, but I don't really want to know what they're saying.
Awesome. Makes sense. It's music, right?
Does that make sense?
Speaking of music,
he just wants to feel it. He doesn't want to think about it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to, he can't.
Isn't that awful?
He's not going to be wrapped up in iambic pentameter. Ironic potentiometers. And,
let me tell you a great one. Here's for all my country guitar students out there. Here's a great one. Put on Merle Haggard, Big City.
Woo!
You want to hear a country shuffle? There it is. Wow.
By far.
All
By
right.
far.
And so Marcus, man, what do you want to do? You want to talk about Van Halen, or do you want us to play another song?
I want to hear you play some more. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do some more music.
Let me think of what Merle Haggard I got.
Down every road, do you know that?
I don't know.
Okay, that's all right.
I don't remember. I don't remember the second verse. Oh man, like that. Today I started loving you again. That's a real simple one. Let's do that one. So let's just do Today I Started Loving You. It's like a swing.
Yeah. What key is that in?
G.
All right.
Well, today I started loving you again. I'm right back where I've really always been. I got over you just long enough to let my heartaches mend. Today I started loving you again. Hit it, man. What a fool I was to think that could get by with only 500,000 teardrops that I've cried. I should have known you wouldn't be the only one. Now crying time for me just begun. For the day I started loving you again. I'm right back where I've really always been. I got over you just long enough to let my heartaches mend. So today I started loving you again. For today I started loving you again. I'm right back where I've really always been. I got over you just long enough to let my heartaches mend. So today I started loving you again. For today I started loving you again.
All right.
Yeah.
What a great one.
Man.
You can't
Beautiful.
see us, but we're smiling ear to ear.
Big. That's it. I love combining those things because, like, I mean, the Merle Haggard record is so like such a beautiful thing. But and Bobby Blue Bland did a wonderful swinging version of that song, and I just sort of love to mash the two of them together.
I can't believe I've never heard that.
Oh man, man, ugh. That'll just get me started. It's amazing. His voice is just is so compelling.
That's great.
Anywho,
sounded great, guys.
That's
so.
Really
Yeah,
great.
Guthrie, before you kicked it off, we were talking earlier about the passing of the guitar world lost a big hero very recently with the passing of Eddie Van Halen. Just wondering if you had any sentiments you want to share on that.
Man,
go ahead, Patrick. You go first.
Man, well, I can remember the first time I heard Van Halen, and this may surprise you, I was an altar boy, and I heard. So, and we just, I was a good young Catholic boy, and I remember it was a kid that was me and my older brother. And a kid that he and his class had the 1984 tape.
Wow.
With the little kid with the cigarette and things like that. And I saw it. Before I even heard it, I was like, what is this? And he's like, this is Van Halen. And I'd heard about this guitar player called Eddie Van Halen. And I'm like, is that the same guy? Because I'd seen him like Hit Parader magazine and stuff like that at the grocery store with my mom, but I didn't, and he let me listen to it on his Walkman, the original Sony Walkman with the foam things.
Wow.
And heard Jump.
Oh, wow.
But then I was like, this all sounds like keyboards. He's like, wait for it. Wait for it. And then that solo came in, and I didn't even know. I was like, that doesn't sound like guitar. And he's like, it's guitar.
Right.
It's really guitar.
Wow.
Like, it doesn't sound like guitar.
Unbelievable.
And I mean, David Lee Roth, I'm a huge fan of the Song and Dance Man. And I mean, I lived that day. I became an absolute lifelong fan. Like, I think the first 5 Van Halen albums are just some of the best rock music to ever of that period. Just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, growing up on acoustic music mainly, and really no top 40 radio or anything, I didn't really. Nobody told me about Van Halen, and so there was this kid that went to my high school that the limited amount of time I did show up to high school, this kid that was there, he had learned how to play Eruption on the electric guitar.
Whoa.
And I was like, wow, this is pretty gnarly. You know, what is this? You know, and he learned it out of a book or something, or a guitar, one of those Guitar Player magazine when they came with the little 45 that you can learn from.
Yes, I remember those.
So this kid learned Eruption. And I thought, well, this is pretty wild, right? So then I don't know, that passed, and I still didn't go buy any of their records or anything, and I just didn't know, you know, and then you know, the more I got exposed to that band, I saw that he was a guy that totally was a total innovator. I mean, he was like as innovative as any musician ever was. I mean, he created a style that is like, I mean, it's pretty amazing when you think about it, what he actually did to change the world of rock guitar. I mean, and nobody was doing that. I mean, he created this style, and he doesn't read music. He plays by ear, he plays by feel, which I have a soft spot in my heart for that, because that's how I learned how to play music. And I think it's a really important way to learn, or at least incorporate a big part of that into your playing, because that's the overall point of what we're doing here to begin with. It's not to run scales and go all this stuff, but man, he did some really technical stuff that just came natural to him. I mean, he was a total innovator, man. It was a big loss for the guitar community. I mean, talk about a total legend, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so that's
complete
what I get
original.
out of it. I love that he was just such an original, and kind of just, you know, there was no boundaries for him, you know?
Yeah. Well, we all wish him, I don't know what you say, but you know,
and you
in
know
a better
what,
place.
I never was around him. I never met him or saw Van Halen live or anything. I was in the same room with him one night at the NAMM show for some Fender stuff, but he came in and he had been drinking a good bit, and he took off. And so I didn't, you know, wasn't around him, but I did see an interview not too long ago on YouTube. There's an interview with him, and it looks like inside the actor's studio. It's like one of those James Lipton things where there's a lady sitting down in a really nice chair, and he comes out in a nice chair. There's a nice captive audience in like a performing arts center at a college or something. It looks very studious, right? And he comes out, man, and he's just the coolest, most laid back cat, man. That was like 2 or 3 years ago. Find that on YouTube, and you'll really enjoy listening to him just talk about everything for like an hour. And he gets up and plays a little guitar, but he mainly is talking, and it's really good. It's really good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool, guys. Before we sort of wind down here, just wanted to see if you guys had anything that you're working on at the moment. I know with, you know, a lot of the country still shut down as we do this broadcast, but like Guthrie, are you collaborating with anyone? Are you doing any recording or any projects upcoming at the moment?
Yeah, I've been doing some collaborating. I mean, this has been a blast doing a few of these with Patrick over here, you know, my homeboy and my neighborhood guitar buddy. And then other than that, I've been working with Kenny Greenberg. We've been writing a bunch of music and recording some of these things that are just cool little ideas. Nothing meant to be complicated or anything, but we're enjoying just getting together and not laboring over writing songs, just coming up with some cool stuff, almost kind of like soundtrack music. And there's some of that stuff out there. Rekindling my relationship with some companies over the past couple days that have been really inspiring. Fender and some other guys that I've lost touch with over the past couple of years due to some changes in the personnel there. And so, man, just a lot of good stuff. I think the veil is finally starting to come back a little bit from the you know, the COVID stuff is, I know, still very serious, but I think some things are starting to, there's some light at the end of the tunnel, I think, because people are starting to kind of come out of their holes a little bit, you know, at least if not in public, in person, you know, the phone calls and the emails are starting to come in more. So I'm just happy as I can be.
Fantastic.
Man. Yeah, I mean, obviously getting to pick with Guthrie, you know, we do that, you know, we pretty often, like both when we realize it's been a stretch before we've played any music.
Yeah,
we're like, let's just sit on the porch and pick. And that's been one of the things of like I've really enjoyed about this pandemic. I've done that with a couple people, and I haven't done that. I mean, I used to go jam, you know, you drive an hour when you're a kid to go jam with somebody that was good.
Yeah.
You know, that didn't live near where you lived.
Right.
And And now you get here in the best city in the world. Now, you know, like we're really blessed at this point that we get to, you know, go sit in with folks when, you know, the world's open. But as far as just playing for our own enjoyment, that's really been the thing that's changed. Like of really being actively involved in like, hey, we're going to go over and play just, you know, no audience, no nothing, but just for ourselves and, you know, and distance out. But I'm working day and night. I just put a tape machine in my house. So I'm working on a new record. I'm also working on a record with my blues band, the Tiger Beats, and writing, and also doing some writing with a great young writer, or a great young talent, a guy named McKinley James, who's sort of our new favorite mascot here in Nashville. McKinley James, wonderful guitar player, singer, you know, just a real throwback to like blues and soul kind of player. Just turned 19. Wow. And it's just is, you know, never just the coolest. He's also, I made him the lead guitar player on my blues band. So, that's awesome. my blues band, the Tiger Beats, is so fun because I barely do anything. You know, I make the kid do all the work.
Well, and you know, man, the other thing about all this is, you know, everybody feels differently about technology. And Marcus, you know me, man, I'm no slave to technology, that's for sure. But I will say that this has been great. The internet has been the best thing. The best use of the internet has for me has been being able to stay in touch with people via music and video and these streaming things and the Skype and the Zoom and the stuff that we're doing, StreamYard. And, you know, this is just something this is a positive part of technology where we're able to keep this stuff going, man. Thank God the audio and the video is decent enough now where people are it's you know, people can sit and watch something without going, well, it's breaking up, I can't hear it. And it's not bad, man. Right.
Well, now, and that's the thing, is because of this has pushed us to really focus on the technology and the application of it to the regular user, to the regular person. And I think like when things come back, this is going to be such an absolute wealth of an option to be able to connect with people. And like, you know, I understand there's screen fatigue and things like that. Well, if you don't look at your screen all day, a little bit of this is kind of nice. That's really been the thing. Like I've really been trying to like just, you know,
and just getting familiar.
And at night, man, like, you know, like, man, I just watched Ray Charles on the Dick Cavett show.
Oh man.
I mean, you want to talk about a mind-blowing experience I never would have noticed. Man, you know, I was never like that just because you're, you know, because I would have just gone out.
Yeah. So. You know, it's funny how, you know, people listen to all this music and there's so much music out there to listen to. But, you know, you bring up a name like Ray Charles and you're like, man, it's like, man, when's the last time you just put on a Ray Charles record and listened to how incredible that guy really was? Or Stevie Wonder or any of these, like, you know, a lot of times the icons become so iconic that people forget to,
Al Green.
You forget to sit and put those records on. I mean, dude, go back and listen to the greatest music ever made. B.B. King, Ray Charles, Van Morrison, you know, Van Halen, Bob Dylan records. I mean, man, there is some legendary stuff. I think the kids these days need to go back and listen to as many old classic records as they possibly can, because there's a disconnect happening there somewhere where the real, what we consider real music that you can feel is getting a little bit diluted, and we need to bring it back, kids. Let's bring it back.
Well, you've got your assignment there, everybody.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back a little, folks.
TRAP stands for bringing it back.
Listeningness.
This guitar brings back good music. So hey, man. So look, I know we got to go. I got to go have dinner. But so here's the thing. Anything online, you can find my website and all the artist work stuff. Of course, I have a full curriculum on artist works. It's called Country Guitar, but people are asking all kinds of questions. I'm teaching everything on there. And so anything Guthrie Trapp, 2 P's at the end of Trapp, the second one's silent, and you can find me anywhere. And so that's my spiel on that. Come find us on Instagram and all that stuff. And then here's Patrick's. Take it away.
No.
There you go.
Well,
I put your
all
websites
the
in the
letters,
scroll
my
too.
name, I guess. I don't know. But like you see on the screen, patricksweany.com, Facebook, Instagram. You can find me on all your streaming services. Actually, man, this is I just found out on the way here, which is why I was late. We just passed 10 million streams of Them Shoes, my song Them Shoes
Awesome.
on Spotify.
That's
so
incredible.
yeah, so I'm kind of so that's so check me out.
Congrats. Yeah, very
He's
cool.
got songs in movies and TV shows and all kinds of stuff. But hey, Marcus, thank you guys.
Thank you, Marcus.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you to everyone that joined us today. And thanks for your questions.
Thank
And for anyone that missed it, you can learn from Guthrie directly at artistworks.com. Here's a coupon code for you as well if you want to check that out. And there's free sample lessons if you just want to get your toes wet and see if it's for you. Hope you check us out online and, stay tuned for these shows. We do them every week. We've got Andy Hall coming up next week with a special guest. So we hope to see you then on Thursday. And Guthrie and Patrick, great as always. Do you want to maybe leave us with one last piece of music?
Sure.
Awesome.
What you got?
Whatever let's do
Did we already did G? What we got?
The C. Let's do the palette on the floor.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
We're keeping it country this time.
Put some hot sauce on it this time. Don't you let my good gal catch you here. Don't you let good gal catch you here. Lord, she might shoot you, cut and stomp you too. Ain't no telling all that she might do. Well, I'm going up the country through that sleet and snow. Up the country through that sleet and snow. Going up the country through that sleet and snow. Going up the country, baby, don't you want to go? Don't you want to go? Lay down a pallet on your floor. Lay me down a pallet on your floor. Honey, make it down, make it soft and low. Make me a pallet on your floor. Don't you let your man ever know. Don't you ever let your good man know. Honey, make it soft and low. Make it so your good man never know. I'm going up the country and my time ain't long. Go up the country and my time ain't long. I'm going up the country and my time ain't long. Going up the country, count the days I'm gone. Get with it. pallet on your floor.
Yeah, man.
Lay me down a pallet on your floor. Make me a pallet down soft and low. Make me a pallet on your floor. All right.
All right.
All right.
Safe.
right.
Thank you, Marcus.
guys.
Thank you, everybody.
See
Really
you,
enjoyed it.
see you guys.
Thanks so much, guys. Bye, everybody.